greatest crime of the Germans was what they did to the novel. We can never publish that.
I kind of want to. Okay, so, what now?
So, I never really thought of an introduction to this.
Me neither. I think we should just kind of introduce ourselves and then kind of just fumble through and say what it's about.
Even the introduction I thought would be a lie, because I was going to be like, well, here's Jess, she's an artist, I'm Philippa, I'm a classicist, except I'm not. I left. I ran away.
We aren't any of those things. We're podcasters. We are, that's our names. That's actual.
Podcasters.
Yeah.
Oh, the Jess and Philippa.
Yeah, no, I mean, we could change our name to that. That would be a bit confusing.
We're podcasters, that's a fact.
Yes.
I did classics, you do art. We like awful things.
Yeah.
We have that in common.
We do.
And this is a podcast about them. It's very specific. We've already found our niche. Bad things.
Bad things. I know. When I've been trying to describe what it's going to be to people, because when I've told people I'm going to do a podcast, you get that kind of like, okay, from people.
What's it about?
It's like, oh, you think you're funny. Oh, honey. And then they ask what it's about, and I'm kind of stuck with what to say because it's about a lot of stuff. It's just about macabre things that we like, and we're going to talk about it, and hopefully it's going to be funny and interesting. And that's all I want from anything in life.
Macabre things that are located in historical periods, because if we talk about the awful things happening now,
yes,
we would just be sad.
Yeah, it's too sad. It's kind of like, look how far we've come. Oh wait, everything's the same shit. But there's also no more child slaves. Oh wait, fuck. No, that's
But there are.
Oh shit. That means.
I think it needs to be the sort of things that makes you snort with laughter and then feel awkward and sad. So you mentioned it and you go, oh no.
Like children chimney sweeps. That's so silly.
Oh, how they must have suffered.
Glad that doesn't happen now. Let's move on with our lives. Okay.
So I think that was very specific.
Yeah, that's
well
very
explained.
long. If you try and explain that to people, that was like, what was that? Let's look at the timer. That was like a minute and a half. We should come up with a pitch, but this is not what we're doing with this.
No, this is just us figuring out what our podcast is
That's
about.
right. This is what the whole first episode is going to be. Us just going, what are we doing?
Here's our thought process.
And then it's going to be about puppies in the end, right?
In a macabre way.
Yeah, macabre puppies.
You say that, but when worshipping Hecate, people used to slaughter white puppies at the crossroads, and that is a valuable topic.
Everything's awful forever. Oh, hey, that's the name of our podcast. Everything's
we've
awful
got that
forever.
now.
Oh my god, that's our full pitch. We have to remember this exactly. Everything we just said in the exact same way up until that point, and that's what we're going to say every single episode.
Yes.
Okay, good.
By heart.
Everything is awful forever. That's Philippa.
To the right.
To the right of me, I'm Jess. Go. Tell me things.
Awful things as I scramble for my notes. And here's where I feel like I'm a child just about to do my, and here's what I did on my vacation.
Yes, it's presentation time.
What I read. So I was going to do a really long thing. I was like, yes, I'm going to look at beauty in the Victorian period, and it's going to be hygiene and clothes and makeup, and I won't have enough to say. And then I started learning about makeup, and I was like, okay, this will take 5 hours. So that's pretty much what I have. Makeup.
That's good, because we can do the other stuff at another point, because it's a rich area.
See, we've got many episodes planned already.
Exactly, it's going to be great.
I find it a bit ironic that I'm talking about makeup since I wear none. Ever.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Maybe it's because you channeling that in a sort of Victorian spirit where you realised it was evil.
Well, Victorians did think that they had a thing for rural girls and milkmaids. In all of their magazines, they used to post pictures of kind of rosy-cheeked women churning the butter, going, this is pure, this is right, we like the natural look. Never thinking that, artists that actually painted those girls, it wasn't like they were photographing women with their leaking paws and burly shoulders and unwashed hair. They were just drawing the idea.
How much they romanticized. I mean, it was kind of straight from the Romantic period about how much they romanticized that rural life. And everyone was dying of everything all the time.
People were ripping baby calves out of cows, elbow deep inside them.
Yeah, and then weeping into their hideous, calloused chimpanzee hands.
It's a good thing this is set in the historical period, or there would be a lynch mob from the country coming after us.
Dirty, filthy farmers and their horrible, horrible ways.
It's fine, they didn't have Wi-Fi, we're safe.
That's good.
They'll never listen to our podcast. And they're all dead, so...
That's okay.
So we're safe.
They probably have all gone to bed by now as well, because farmers get up at dawn and then, I don't know, they go to bed at 4 p.m. apparently, according to me now. That's right.
Yeah, that works.
It's Scotland, so it's dark by now, so that makes sense.
So, yeah, pictures of rural girls flaunting the natural look. It was actually pretty interesting because there was quite an anti-makeup trend in the Victorian period, so it suited the very poor who couldn't afford makeup. It didn't become like I can't buy this. It was more, I'm so good, I don't need this. I too can wash my face with water, and therefore we are the same. It was very democratizing, I said, thinking that was a word.
It is now. It's okay.
It is now.
Just steer into it.
I'm a trendsetter.
Say it with confidence and it's true.
But on the other hand, women had a duty to keep themselves attractive for their husbands.
Always. I mean,
still the same way.
It's not changed.
If your husband cheats on you, that's your fault.
You didn't wear enough makeup or you wore too much. And there's a specific kind of makeup that you have to have. Let's just say that.
Either way, there's something wrong with your face, and that led him to stray. So women had a duty to make themselves attractive, and sometimes that means taking things into your own hands. It also was a moral duty, because the sight of a pure, beautiful woman was said to inspire religiosity in an errant man's breast, lead him towards Christ. So you better do your brows right, bitch, because you are responsible for people's souls.
Absolutely. If you have that much power, why should you even get the vote? Because you've got so much power over men with how you look. If you get the vote, then you just have everything. So calm down, women. Calm down.
You have control over things above in heaven. Just let men rule things down below.
Exactly.
Inspire them with your beautiful face. For some women, they were naturally attractive or had particular things against makeup, which a lot of women did. Then clean living was enough. They did home remedies, they washed their faces, they focused on inner contentment, #blessed. Pure water. The Victorians had this growing thing about bathing. Early 1800s. Oh my
the
god,
seagulls.
Birds!
Let's
shut
all
up, birds!
enjoy the seagull cacophony happening outside. Podcasting.
It's an outcry against us.
Professionalism.
We'll just cut that out.
Keep it.
If we can figure out how.
No, we're not going to.
It's going to be just
It's going to be in. There you go.
So, yeah, for some women, clean living was enough. They didn't read novels, and that kept their complexions kind of nice and fresh.
Yes.
Because reading things that inspired passion made you very sallow. It was all the staying up late at night.
The thinking giving you wrinkles. Yes, that's right.
That can just ruin a woman. So, no books, no reading.
No.
The joy in your eyes at looking at your husband gave them kind of like a spark, which meant that you didn't need anything else to make your eyes pretty.
That's right.
And then for the rest of us, who are filled with bitterness.
The fugly ones that didn't have fresh holy water to wash yourself in.
There's makeup for us.
Yes.
So it's difficult to know how many Victorian women wore makeup because nobody's going to admit to it.
Yes, that's right. My eyelids are indeed gold.
Just born like that. And I mean, we only have written records, and a woman couldn't write. I mean,
don't be so gauche. How could that be a thing?
A few women kept journals, but they're not going to talk about their makeup routines in their journals, and they're not going to say that they wore makeup because naturally we all want people to think that that's how we naturally look. So we kind of just have to guess. Victorians, as I said, they were suspicious about cosmetics because it's basically lying. I think we still feel that way.
I mean, some people do. Some people feel that it's lying. There's a society that demands a certain standard from us and then shames us for doing it.
I love the men who tweet that makeup is false advertising. And the Victorians were doing that before it was cool.
Yeah,
so
right.
They used to say that it was used to restore the appearance of youth, which, complete deception. You're 25, you're a hag, Mildred. Just move on with your life.
Mildred, you should have been married for 10 years already and have 6 children. What are you doing with yourself? What are you doing with yourself?
How's your husband going to feel when you wipe that shit off your face and you're showing all 26 years?
There's going to be like one small laugh line there. He doesn't want to see that. He doesn't want to know that you laugh. That's disgusting, Mildred. Get it together.
No one likes a happy woman.
Mildred.
I get the impression that makeup before the Victorian period looked very fake, because you were making it out of pig's lard and crushed berries and kind of whatever shit you had in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Maybe blood. I feel like there was blood. I haven't read it anywhere, but...
I think there would be.
So women before the Victorian period who painted their faces, you could tell. It was like a 5-year-old putting on mom's lipstick. But what's weird about the Victorian period is even more than them going, oh, it looks fake, was them kind of going, oh, it looks real. We can't tell the difference. And they used to talk about how women, they're all daughters of Eve and kind of naturally deceitful. Giving Adam that apple, I'm taking a break and drinking wine.
Do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's necessary. Our fans need to know what happens. All 75,000 of you immediately.
We're doing this drunk.
We're millennials. We drink always.
I came across a fun quotation. I stole it from a book. It's Therese O'Neill's Unmentionable, which is my favourite book of all time now, on Victorian women. But she records the words of a man called James P. Tuttle in volume 25 of the medical record, kind of arguing that scientific developments in chemistry were being abused by women. So he says, the science of chemistry and art of pharmacy have been exhausted to prepare delicate colourings and bright enamels for the complexion. It seems to have been a conception of the ages past that these adornments added to the personal attractions of men as well as women, inflaming passion and calling forth amorous ebullitions in the opposite sex, ebullitions.
Oh no.
That it should be held in disrepute will not be questioned, for it was those whose consciences did not falter at whatever means to gain an end, the vicious and vulgar, the harlots and witches, who were the originators of these practices.
I'm sat here with bright red lips and fucking wing eyeliner like, no.
I'm a harlot and a witch.
I'm a thought.
So that's who used makeup in the Victorian period, according to James P. Tuttle. Boyfriend material.
Yes. I love the way Victorians spoke and wrote. It's just so good.
We don't use the word harlot enough.
I know, we really should.
I mean, witches, that's coming back. But I think harlot needs to have its moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've had authors with varying ideas on what the Victorians thought about makeup. Some of them say that, makeup was used by very few Victorian women, and that for the most part they used rose water and almonds and elderflower water and lavender.
All the cute secret things that women do. It's just because men didn't realise that every single woman was wearing makeup. Even the woman that said she didn't and she just had a healthy, clean life was wearing makeup. You just can't tell Victorian men. Get it together.
They just didn't notice. I like the authors who say that there was shit everywhere and mercury up everyone's nostril.
That's right.
And that was the Victorian period for me. But that's because we love awful things.
Yeah, that's true.
This podcast. So I haven't even started on the makeup that they used, because it sure as fuck wasn't lavender water.
Let's get to the awful stuff.
The horrifying things.
Go.
I'm very excited.
Go.
So my favourite one is that Victorian women used to squirt deadly nightshade into their eyes to enlarge their pupils. It is the best.
Isn't that hallucinogenic?
It is a hallucinogenic. It's used in recreational drugs, but I read that it gives the worst trips ever. Wikipedia says that words used to describe deadly nightshade trips include hellish, demonic, and terrifying. So don't use that at home. It can lead to out-of-body experiences. Oh. And so people thought that it was major ingredients in witches' flying ointments.
Oh.
Which I thought was, mashed up children, according to The Witch 2015. But witches' flying ointments and beauty spells, so James P. Tuttle was right. witches and
was.
harlots.
He was right all along.
Belladonna, man.
My lord.
I can't believe that women were hardcore enough to put that shit in their eyes.
I know, how badass was that? People think that women are delicate, like women from the past were delicate, but that's just because they were high as shit, because they had poison all over their face, and they were squirting like basically LSD into their eyes, just being tripping on balls because they're seeing demons.
I think that's what gave them that vacant expression.
Yeah.
They were just like staring into the middle distance, going like, I can't see.
Ethel, what are your thoughts on this? Oh, what? Oh, nothing, dear.
I was just watching my cat fucking Satan. But would you like a biscuit? Yeah, I was going to say for the belladonna, we should add a disclaimer. Don't do this at home.
Don't do it.
Don't put it in your eyes.
Or do it, except don't do it.
Don't say that you did it because we told you to.
Yeah, but do it, and then tell us what happened. But don't.
Deadly nightshade is very poisonous.
No. Good.
I mean, I don't know if it was the deadly that tipped you off.
So how many of these women could see?
Very few. I was wondering.
See.
But I mean, I think people lost their sight very easily anyway because they had such poor lighting and it was all candlelight, so...
I just sometimes wonder how anyone from the Victorian era survived and how life just wasn't snuffed out entirely.
They were all bumping into things.
Yeah, just everyone was blind and high on mercury and arsenic and deadly nightshade.
It's a miracle that we're still here.
Isn't that the theme of the podcast?
That it's a miracle that we're still here.
Right.
We're happy about that. But that's where the name Belladonna comes from. Deadly nightshade. Because it was beautiful woman. It made women beautiful.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm going to start doing it now.
Belladonna.
Yeah.
So yeah, side effects made the vision blurry because I'm going to mess up the scientific wording here. Yes, it acts as a muscarinic antagonist.
Oh.
So, fancy science.
Sounds like a villain from some kind of video game.
Twirling its mustache. Basically, like the muscles in your eyes that make your pupils contract. It disables those so that you can't focus. And that makes your eyes beautiful.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, side effects include blurry vision and an inability to focus on near objects and an increased heart rate. I guess that was all to mimic the signs of sexual arousal.
I was going to say, like, an increased heartbeat, trying to get a bit flushed, lips to get redder, such and so forth.
And that's how women married particularly unattractive men. Deadly nightshade.
Because they couldn't see what they fucking looked like. And then also they were constantly having palpitations, and so like, am I going to die? I need to marry someone immediately, or I'm going to die childless and alone.
So that was Belladonna.
Now my wine glass is almost done, but then it's like, what are we gonna do?
We can get more
Oh
wine.
my god, the modern age.
What else? There was lead. We all know about the lead.
And there's still fucking lead, because everything's awful forever.
But not in our makeup. So the Victorians used to call it sugar of lead.
Oh,
Just to make it sound nicer.
that's cuter.
When you're rubbing it into your eyes or...
Sweet sugar. It's okay, it's safe.
When they thought about lead, they didn't think poisonous substance. No, they thought beauty enhancer. So the thing about lead is that if you breathe it or touch it, it builds up in your tissues or blood and causes nerve damage and death. But also pure complexion.
Great.
So it kind of distinguishes you from the working class who toil under the sun.
Of course.
Don't want brown skin, you don't want freckles, although I will
No.
come to freckles.
No melanin, get that out of there. How brown are you? Nope, not pretty according to Victorian London.
You're just a peasant girl curdling her butter, whatever people curdling butter.
Like, just like fucking punching butter. I don't know what you do.
Churning butter. We live in a city. But yeah, you don't want to look like her, despite the fact that you were posting idealized pictures of her in your magazine, going, oh my god, this is rural innocence and beauty. But real women who worked on farms had tan skin and freckles, so fuck that shit. You wanted to be aristocratic with your silky smooth lead skin. So they powdered lead, their sugar of lead. They applied it to their skin up to 3 times a week. Or, if you had money, you could hire a face enameller. And I have told you that word before, I know. But
It just sounds kind of badass. A face enameller.
I think that woman must have looked as if they came from horror movies.
It's just stumbling out. They can't see anything, so they're walking around like zombies. They're high as shit talking about demons, and their face has metals all over it and it's basically lacquered.
Like, basically, you would get some guy to come and pull out all the little hairs in your face and then take a lead paste and paint it all over your face. And that was supposed to last for up to 5 years, as long as you didn't wash your face.
Oh my god.
But it used to last for about 2 days.
Did it say, like, did you then just have basically a hellish mask of yourself permanently on your face? Like, could you move your face?
I like to think that women walked around, their faces kind of contorted into a permanent scream.
I would like to see, like, Botox, but for your entire face. So you're just constantly in just, like, one expression.
That being an expression of pain and horror.
Yeah, or quiet disdain, depending on how rich you were. Because
that works.
Women are used to pain from the Victorian era, I'm sure. So they're just like, yes, this is my daily face enamelling.
This is just the way my husband makes me feel. But a lot of Victorian women actually didn't like face enamelling and used to laugh at the woman who got it. And they'd be like, necrotic flesh. Stupid cow.
I love that. It happens now. There's a makeup trend and people like that and think it's beautiful. And then there's the people that make fun of them for it. And it's like, just let them do what they want to do. Fuck off. I mean, I would say don't enamel your face. But also if you want to enamel your face, no, don't do it. This is bad. That's stupid.
Towards the end of the 1800s, the Victorians were like, oh, lead, it might be bad.
A lot of our women are dying really young.
Maybe we should not make it legal.
Yeah.
Even then, they were like, a little lead in moderation. It's kind of like alcohol, like too much is bad, but like just like a little smidge and rub it over those zits and you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly when they stopped using lead altogether, but there was a lot of discussion around it.
Yeah.
This is kind of where I get into my discussion of why I don't wear makeup, which is freckles. I read Pride and Prejudice when I was 12. I don't know why I read it when I was 12. I think somebody thought it would be ideal for a prepubescent girl to learn about how to interact with men. And it was given to me. So I read it and I loved it, but I was scarred for life because when the Bennet sisters are talking about how Wickham, that bastard, is all set to marry, I think it was Mary King, instead of abiding by the bro code and being like, well, Wickham is a fuckboy and he's just marrying women for money. Instead, they were like, oh, poor Wickham, of course he needs to marry for money, he's so poor. And Mary King is a bitch.
Oh, she's
poor Wickham.
Such a bitch, Wickham.
And then they say she's such a nasty freckled thing. At 12, I learned, I was like, fucking hell. Instead of learning about feminism and internalized misogyny, I was like, freckles.
But I'm not pretty.
Yes.
Freckles.
So, I was like, I need to cover my freckles.
Oh.
And I stole all my mom's makeup and I used to try and create concoctions that would cover up my freckles and make it look like I'd never had one.
Oh.
It didn't work. So I lost all faith and was like, I will just be glorious in my awfulness forever.
That's right.
But apparently I didn't want that pale Victorian skin badly enough because Jane Austen and her peeps used carbolic acid.
Oh.
I mean,
oh dear.
You don't want freckles? Kill them with fire.
Yeah, just burn them off. Skin. Get rid of it. It's freckly, so just don't have any.
Just remove several layers of skin and you are good to go.
Good to go.
They also used to sunburn themselves.
Oh.
Burn that shit! Skin cancer is one thing, but freckles are another.
You would die before that time anyway.
I guess.
It doesn't matter. Even like the average age of death was like 30 or something, so it's fine.
You'll make it to middle age, and by then you might as well be dead.
Yeah. No one really wants to live up to that time. Oh my
Old women don't have lives.
They don't exist.
So that was what they did to their freckles. Let's see. So hair washing, don't. At least up until the 1840s.
Okay.
What women used to do is, throughout the 1800s, at least up until the mid-1800s, women used to just brush their hair.
I know that they would have maybe like a monthly communal bath, depending on how poor you were, of course. This is mostly the poor people. But yeah, I do think that hair was mostly just kind of like tied up and behatted because...
Cover that shit up.
Yeah, cover that shit up. And like, I know that hats kind of came like out of fashion because of cars. It's really annoying to wear hats when you're seated, and cars got rid of hats. So before that, everyone wore hats all the time, so you didn't have to have nice hair because it was always covered.
And letting your hair loose just tempts the men anyway.
Tempts the men. We've already said that they're powerful enough to tempt men into like religion, basically. So
Painted Jezebel.
Thoughts.
So what they used to do before they washed hair is kind of put not like a towel, but a blanket or sheets over their shoulders, lay out their hair and then brush it so that you could go, head lice, that's coming out. And the level of soot in the air, they used to have to brush that shit out as well.
I love it so much. It just sounds like a horror show.
It's like that in Black Books when that cleaning freak swipes his hair fingers through the air going like, dusty.
I am the cleaner. Dirty.
Basically, he would have had a field day. So they had to brush the shit out of their hair.
The shit, get that shit gone.
Brush the soot and the shit out of their hair. But later on, they were like, maybe water won't kill you. So...
Well...
Maybe. So they used to wash their hair in rosemary and warm water, which sounds very nice.
Aww.
But other people say ammonia. So it was an either or kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
Some people like to live on the wild side.
Yeah.
Women dyed their hair as well.
I was so glad you said dyed their hair, because this whole thing, just women died, they just straight up died because they're just pouring chemicals all over their body.
Women dyed their hair, but to them, like, dyeing your hair was like snorting Cheetos to us. Dangerous and unpredictable. It was, I don't think many women did, and they only did it to like cover up the grey hairs.
Yeah.
You didn't want to change shades because the only shade was black. It was a good time for us.
Soot. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
You could only really go black. There weren't any other options.
Yeah.
Or you could try to bleach it with ammonia, but it had a tendency to go green. And what surprises me is how cautious women were towards dyeing their hair, because generally with like deadly nightshade, they seem to have a more laissez-faire approach.
I love the different, because we're mostly talking about like Victorian London essentially, because I guess that's where most of the research comes from, apart from like a little bit of Yorkshire from the Pride and Prejudice gal. What is her name? Oh my god, how is that?
Jane Austen.
Jesus Christ. Oh Lord. I did English. I have an English master's, but like in different places of the world, especially I'm thinking Asia, Japan and China, they didn't want people to look natural. They wanted them to be like pale and painted like a doll. Interesting stuff.
Whereas, I mean, in London, just screaming masks and lead, and
yes,
that's true beauty.
Natural beauty. Okay, we can have like another episode about makeup perhaps later on.
We could go deeper into hygiene. I've got my horse varnishing story.
Horse varnishing.
Save it for next time.
All the corsets in fashion and other such. I mean, let's just gonna say we're not only gonna talk about like makeup and fashion and women's shit.
And there's drinking corpses.
Yeah, like the mummy juice.
Witch bottles.
Yeah. So, very good, Philippa.
That was me and my research.
Yay. If we have a mistake that we have to slice in later on, it's like, and this happened in 1964, and then it was good. Everything's awful, so are we. So are you.
So is the sound
So is the sound quality. Yeah, we're going to have to say, this is our first ever episode. Even if we might decide this is all garbage and do it again, this may never hear the light of day. But
we'll keep it in the vault.
Yeah.
Bring it out and weep over it.
But yeah, the sound quality is bad because we don't have any money, but eventually we will invest and get microphones and shit. Currently we're sat on a bed, drinking wine,
looking out a window,
staring at an iPad angrily,
spitting at the seagulls,
like cursing the world. And my ankle is bleeding as well. I came in like, I was like, oh, this is blood all over my sock. Oh, it's my blood.
It started in blood, it will end in blood.
Start as you mean to go on. Again, we haven't really thought of an outro or anything.
Well, I guess maybe we could just go against the whole mood of this thing and what has made you happy today?
Oh.
What's not awful?
Okay, I got to meet your bun for the first time.
You did.
We're both rabbit owners because we're idiots because they're the worst pets in the world and we love them more than anything. They're the best. And so I got to meet your bun for the first time. She's very fat, she's very good, she's very fluffy, all the good things that you want in a rabbit, including having a terrible personality and being really mean.
Fluffy bunnies, that's not something that will come up in this.
No.
Except maybe as cryptotaxidermy.
I mean, it's gonna happen.
Cryptotaxidermy, yes. There will be bunnies. So it ended in fluffy bunnies and blood.
Yeah, okay. What was your good thing?
My good thing is it's my day off. And
Yay!
Yay, it's a Saturday. I don't have to work. That's tomorrow on the day of rest. So I had my day off and I got to spend it drinking shit wine and talking about women poisoning themselves in the past with you.
I will address, you've been saying woman this whole time. Mm-hmm. Philippa is a dirty, filthy foreigner.
I am.
Yeah. And I just want to address that because people will be like, where the fuck are their accents from? Because
you're like, woman, foreign.
Woman. Stop saying woman.
Oh, because you say women.
Yeah.
Women.
That's interesting. I never knew that.
Oh, I haven't said woman.
This podcast isn't going to work out. I'm sorry.
We just can't understand each other.
No.
No one will understand us.
Yeah, so our accents, I am from Lincolnshire. I don't sound it. Philippa is South African.
That's why you hear my pleasant drawl.
And that's where our accents are from before. We just nip that in the bud immediately.
Just put that in. We'll put it in the beginning so that people don't listen to the whole podcast going,
like,
what?
Confused and angry the whole time. Like, it's not American. I don't, but it's, what?
We're in New Zealand? I like that we both jumped there.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like people either go, because if they hear a weird accent, people usually say Canadian, because like, it's not quite American, I hear that, but so Canadian? Anyway.
That was us for this podcast, but if you miss us in the meantime, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're called Everything is Awful Forever Podcast, just like the name.
Just like the name, except Twitter and Instagram are terrible. So on Twitter we're called Awful Forever Pod, and on Instagram we're called Awful Forever Podcast.
Not too difficult.
Not too hard. Don't worry.
Come and chat with us about awful things. Let us know what you think about the podcast. And until next time, it's all gonna be okay.
Except no, it's not.
Except it is.
No, it isn't. That it's not. It's not.
It is.
No, it's not. It's not okay. Bye.